Hello and good morning. Good to have you here, everyone. And there we go. That should work out just fine. Fantastic. Daily Creative Challenge. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you, Chad, Afroja, Thurman, Christian as well. Cool. We have a fun day planned. I got some cool graphics, some fun things we're going to work on. Actually, new features in Photoshop that were released at Adobe Max, which was virtual this year. So that's going to be really fun. And I'm looking forward to sharing all of this with you right now. So I'll just open up a browser and share this with you guys. Here we go. Give me 1 second. Boom, here we are. All right, welcome everybody. Good to have you here. So this is the Creative Challenge, Daily Creative Challenge, specifically for Photoshop, which is going to be great. You can see the number of days that we've been through so far, and I'm going to get all sad when when this week is over, because I think this has been really fun. So as you scroll down, you can see we're going to work on some minimalist design. Basically, we're going to be working with vector assets and creating vector-like primitive objects, if you will, and showing you a library of vector assets that you have at your fingertips. All right. Cool. All right, so all you need to do is click right here to get started. You will see this asset load up. There's actually two in here. I thought this would be kind of fun. So we have this minimalist PSD and then an Illustrator file. Since we're going to be using vector assets, I want to show you how to work with Illustrator. Cool. All right, so here it is. You can see, looks like a number of graphics are in here already. So we have this one, we have a wood background, we have a chalkboard, threw a fun hand in there. We also have a butterfly because there's a number of things that I want to do. But we also have this sky, which is why I've given you this Illustrator file as well, because I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of go through some of these like zodiac signs, if you will. Not that I'm into astrology, but it's kind of fun. Just to have some graphics to work with. Shout out to all the Christmas babies out there. So I know Gus's was just a couple days ago, and mine's at the end of the month. So, okay, let's dive into this, because the first thing I want to show you is I want to kind of create some things in this sky. Okay, so typically you will use any number of these tools right down here. These are your vector tools. We can click out. We can use like the ellipse tool if we want to, right? Selecting ellipse, we can go ahead and draw that out. I'm just drawing out and holding down the shift and the option key to put it like right in the center. All right, hello Frank and Ted and everyone. All right, so this is what I want to show you, this properties panel. Check this out. We have all these new options right in here. We have the fill that we could obviously change, right? Pretty straightforward. We have the stroke that we can change as well. So I'm gonna just change the stroke to white. I'll take off the fill, okay? And I'll just increase this stroke with this little slider right here. Okay, see I'm dragging that over. Notice how it's actually set to, you can set it to the inside, in the center, or the outside of this particular of this shape, right? So you can kind of play with this all you want. And then you have Pathfinder options as well. So we can get into a number of these. We got other cool things that we could do. Real fast, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna draw, let's say for instance, I wanna do like a crescent moon, all right? How would you do that? Well, when you draw, you get a number of items up here. And first off, just so you know, sweet, right up here. You want to make sure this is just set to shapes. So draw with shapes. Sometimes you'll have the path and you'll be like, what the heck's going on? Just make sure it's set to shape. And this is where you can set the stroke, the fill, the size. Notice how I already did that. It's going to default to my last used settings, right? So that's how that is set up. But right down here, let's say for instance, I want to subtract something from something else? Well, we'll go subtract front shape. Currently isn't a front shape yet, but there will be in a second as I click and drag holding down the shift key, right? We can go ahead and sort of cut that out. And now we have subtracted the front shape, right, from the back shape, as you can see right here. You could always go in and select it using the direct selection tool or the sub-selection tool, which are right in here. I'm using the direct selection tool right now, and we can kind of move that around all we want. Right, cool thing is we could always kind of control this through this slider, like so, and stuff like that. So anyways, that's just kind of the basics of sort of using this properties panel. There's actually so much more that I want to get into. Actually, what I want to do is I want to give this a cool glow. So let's just go out here. We'll do outer glow, and we'll set this to overlay. So typically it's set to normal. Boring. Who wants normal as your setting? No, I'm going to go to overlay, and then it gives it just that nice glow in the sky, as you can see right there. Okay, glowing like so. Okay, cool. We have that lovely crescent moon, right? Let's do this a little bit more. A lot of times I'll actually just create a new layer. Let's draw this out once more. And just have some fun, shall we? Let's get into this. I'll be using the same effect a lot, so I just hold down the Option key and drop it onto that new layer. And there we have that that lined version, right? And then we have our moon. We have our circle or ellipse. Let's take this down to like 5 points, maybe. No, let's go to like 8. All right, let's make both of these 8 points, like so. All right. Shrink this up like so, and I can play with this all day long. All right, cool. So we got this. We have this squared away. This is pretty simple. I think it's actually cooler for this circle outside of the moon, and let's shrink this down as well to kind of fade it. So if you want to delete part of a line, what I typically do is add a mask to that layer. So it's a vector layer. Come down here, boom, there it is, right? B for brush, and we just take down the flow to about 15 to 20, and then we can kind of paint that out like that. Just kind of having fun with this. Because things are going to look cooler, like, you know, if you kind of have some hidden lines, I think, right? Just make it more, like, astrological looking, I guess. Okay? All right. Just checking. Hey, Paul. Yeah, feel free. Any way to ask me about yesterday's liquid lessons. By the way, ask away all you want on Discord. We're actually going through, I'll be checking out these current challenges, but you can always sort of ask through Discord might be the best way to do that. Either ask a question to everybody or to me specifically. So that's how I would do that, right? Okay, let's come back right in here. I have this lovely hand that I can work with, right? So you could take anything. Like, what if you want to outline something, right? I have this hand that I might want to outline, right? So I can turn this into a selection, and I did it so fast. I just did it kind of naturally, but let's take this hand, and if we just command click on that layer, it will go ahead and turn that into a selection, right? We'll just go on a new layer because I just don't want to screw up that hand there. And we can stroke it. Okay, so we could stroke this with a brush, for instance. Let's go to our brush. Let's crank up the hardness, take the size down to 8, right? And here's our brush that we have, and make sure the flow is up to 100. So here's our brush, right? There's our fun little brush. We could take this brush and stroke it as well. Let's go to the paths, because we could turn this into actually a path. So let's do this. I'm actually going to do this a number of ways. I'm going to make this a work path from that current selection. Here's that work path. Okay, there it is. Here's a big thing. Sometimes you'll make something into a work path, like I'm kind of showing you right now. And you might want to actually convert it into a vector mask. So go to layer, vector mask, and then current path. And now you have a vector mask for that specific layer. Okay. Let's do one more though. Yeah, current path, there we are, and that's our vector mask we can work with, right? Anyways, let's move on from there, because kind of what I'm thinking is I just want to stroke this hand with white. So right over here for this layer, what's selected. Coming to the bottom of that panel, let's do this really fast. Let's take a look. I don't fill path with 4, stroke path with brush, clicking right there, and sure enough, it strokes it with that particular brush, as you can see. Right? Cool. All right, let's move on. That's like okay. I need to move this down a little bit. I want to get into some of the other additional features because I've added these circles. Boom, boom. There that is. Let's kind of move this hand down. I don't know, something kind of like that. But let's add some more to this. Okay, let's add some stars, right? We're going to add stars to the skies, but very, sort of more symbolic stars. Okay, so we're going to go right over here. And notice we have a number of other options. We have the polygon tool, right? We could draw out a polygon. Right here it is. Right? You're thinking, oh, geez, Paul, I thought you were going to draw a star. Well, for, of course, a lot of these items, you have additional properties. So as we take a look in here, what do we have? We can give this more sides, change it from a polygon to an octagon to a septilogon. I don't know what all the names are, but we can, let's go right down here. Sorry, this slider. We can change the different sides, right? That's fine, but right down here, this is where you turn it into a star, right? 100%, let's take that down. Like that, and that's how we make stars. Just like that. Okay, so I could bring that down to, say, 50. Whatever I want. I usually do it all visually. We want this to be a 5-sided star. There we have it. Take this to 50 like so, and here's our perfect star that we can work with. And again, we'll stroke it. We'll fill it with nothing. And then here's our lovely star with the same stroke size as well. Zoop. Shrink that up. You get the idea. Anyways, guys, I'm just having fun. Let's throw that layer effect on it. Maybe duplicate it as well. Command J, Command J. There's our fun stars. Cool. Yeah, sorry I don't know the unable to sync error code. I would log back in, I would log out and log back in. Just do a simple restart, a refresh, all that stuff is typically how I'd troubleshoot. All right, what if we want to add more to this? Because all I'm doing are basic shapes. First off, since I'm showing the additional options for these specific shapes, what else we can also do, by the way, we can round these. So we could round the corners if we want to, and get something like this type of star by rounding the corners. Okay, but let's undo that. Let's take our ellipse, just because I want to show you this. Maybe we'll turn off some of the other things, just so they don't get too confusing. But for this ellipse, check this out. Right in here, for this stroke, right? We just changed the size. We'll go to this drop-down menu, and sure enough, we can have dashed lines, right? We can see right in here, click down, and let's make that gap, and the dash is more extreme. So we could take this up to 50, for instance. Maybe 10. And let's do 10 there. So here, this is what I would do. You make the dash the same, let me check. It should be the same width. Let's increase the size of this line. Let's make it about 30. Go to our drop down. Let's make this 0. There we go. Now we have our circles. right? So this, all we have to do is change the size of this line is like changing the size of these circles. Hopefully that makes sense, right? So there we have it. We have 4, maybe more circles as I start to generate those and adjust the gap if I want to as well. Okay. Cool. Hopefully that hopefully that makes sense. Balancing this out, by the way. So there we go. We have our fun little dashed lines and all that good stuff. Cool. All right, everyone. Let's move on. We made our dashed line. By the way, yeah, dash, thank you for thinking that's cool. Trying to gauge everybody's, what they think of this and their appeal. How much this appeals to ya, right? It's going to quickly get messy, but we're just going to have and make a fun sort of star scene, if you will. If you're into zodiac signs, you can add your zodiac, which is what I'm going to do next, okay? Or do soon. I'm not going to do it right now because actually there's more I want to do in here, right? Because before this latest release, since Max, even a simple line, you know what a line was, Colleen? Do you know what a line was? It was actually just a box, right? It was a rectangle stretched out, right? It wasn't really a true line. But now if we take a look, as I click and draw, here's that stroke. Let me thicken this up. The fill doesn't matter, but you could see that this actual line is invisible. What is going on, little guy? What is going on with him? What is going on with this line? I got something weird happening, like with my video card, it seems. Oh, so strange. Let's actually change the background. Yeah, it was very weird what's going on with this line. But anyways, I was going to use line anyways. You get the idea. I'm going to do one more. Command J. Let's just see if this actually still works. Yep. There we go. Drag out from the center and crank this up. There we go. Oh yeah. That's more like it. Let's throw a mask on it too. There we are. Just making some fun artwork. All right, so let's move on. How's everybody doing? If you want to select a layer and decide who selects the layer and decides to move it, I don't know what you're saying exactly, Susanna. But a quick and easy way to select items is hold down the Command key, right? And then I can click and watch my layers panel. See how it jumps around to these different layers? I'm basically selecting. I'm using auto select right up here. So use, sure enough, your move tool, and then you can use auto select if you want to just click on something. But you toggle that using the Command key. Okay, so let's move on from there because we have a couple more things going on. We have a number of places where we have shapes, but we have the all new shapes panel. So we'll open this up and here's a number of vector shapes that you could use, right? You scroll down, you can see I actually have a number of them. Symbols, right? Legacy default shapes. You're like, oh, I want a heart. Where did you get that heart, Paul, huh? Again, we can take that, we can drop it in here like so, right? Go to this flyout menu. Let's place that first. But go right up here to this flyout menu. Have access to all those shapes and more shapes, because I end up using a lot of these sort of basic symbols. So use legacy shapes and more in case you need a fleur-de-lis or a registered trademark and all that good stuff. Cool? So those are a ton of images that you have at your fingertips. Bam, there they are, right? Go ahead, use them. They're fun. Awesome. Glad I could help. Right, same thing here. This is interesting, by the way. So you notice you'll select this vector layer, you have this heart, and you want to change it to a white outline. You're like, how the heck do I do that? And you'll look over here to the properties panel. You'll like maybe click on that. You're like, no, what is all this stuff? Right? This is kind of weird, but if you go in and you select a vector tool, right, you could select the just the direct selection tool, either one of these, just select it, and then that, with this object selected, you could then change it right up here at the top. So that's where you want to go ahead and change it. You do have to make sure the direct selection tool is selected, or even another vector tool, and we can go ahead and outline that. Cool. All right, let's move on. Oh, I gotta hurry. Okay, so we've drawn stuff. By the way, we could use, as I go in here, right over here, we have the pen tool. Pen tool, freeform pen tool, a number of tools right in here, right? That you can use to kind of draw things, right? So I could attempt to draw a heart, but I'd rather show you where you can find one that is gonna look pretty awesome. So you can use Photoshop to draw vector assets like I'm doing right now. Totally works fine, right? Use the pen tool. Typically you want to take things to the next level and use something like Illustrator, which is like made for vector content, right? So that's why I gave you this other file. If we go right over here, this Zodiac Illustrator file, opening that up. Pick your Zodiac, guys. I'm wondering. I slaved away at this file, by the way. Some of these assets, by the way, are actually baked into Illustrator. So this lion is actually part of Illustrator, right? But I'm a Capricorn. I'll go down here. I will select this, copy it. Go to Photoshop. And rather than having that heart there, and I'm not crazy about those the dashed lines. Let's actually turn off all this. And let's just paste it in. Command V. Help us all. Okay, there it is. Copy. Paste. There we go. Got it. So these are options you get: smart object, pixels, path, shape layer, right? You can make something a shape layer. Typically what I do, it's going to be smart object or shape layer, right? If something's sort of a flat color, you could probably use shape layer and bring it in like so. So there it is, right? We could double click on it. We can change the color if we want to, right? But this is a shape layer, as we can see, right? We could give this a stroke if we want to. So let's do this. Let's give it a stroke. Is it even, oh yeah, it's going on the inside. Let's go outside. We're giving it a stroke like I'm doing right now. And let's make this larger so everybody can see it. But the thing is, what if we want to get rid of that fill color? Well, we'll go right over here. You can see off to the side. People wonder what the difference between opacity and fill are. Well, opacity is going to make everything more transparent. But fill, on the other hand, if we take that down, that just makes the fill color transparent. So that's how you get rid of, that's what fill means. That's how you get rid of the fill. And that's how you can stroke your star sign if you want to. All right, something just like that, okay? A lot of times I will literally do a paste. So let's paste this in once more, paste it in as a smart object, right? We won't worry about adding it to the current library. We'll just paste it in like so. Oh, hey, guess what? We could double click on it. Since it's a smart object, we could see that it's right down here. And honestly, yeah, let's take a look at this. Here it is. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Getting rid of the fill here, saving it, closing it, editing it all I want in Illustrator. And then when I go back into Photoshop, you can see those edits were applied and all that good stuff. And by the way, I want to thicken up that line. Sure, I can add that stroke there, or I can add it right in here, 2, 3, right, something like that. Saving that, jumping back in, there it is. And let's add a glow to it as well. Boom. I don't know. That's all I'm messing with, guys, right? Yeah, fill slider will get rid of your fill. So there's this version. Here's a version I worked on earlier. I actually just posted this to Instagram, just so you know. But I want to see what you create. So just export this out, by the way. Post it to Discord, and I'd love to see what you have going on, people. And I wonder where all the Christmas babies are. Come on, Christmas babies. All right, cool. Probably deselect that. And thanks so much. I'm going to turn it over to our next guest. And I'll leave you actually with the schedule. We have a fantastic lineup today. I'm going to be hosting Rick in a second. Rick Ostenbrook, he's awesome in working with color, and it's going to be fantastic. So we get to continue the Photoshop party in a sec. Thanks so much. Be right back.